Hey everybody, Christopher here with Bangert, and today we're going to talk about Intacct Collaborate. What is Intacct Collaborate? Why would you want to use it? So first off, it's a messaging tool. It's basically Salesforce Chatter built into Sage Intacct. And if you're not familiar with Salesforce Chatter, it's going to allow you to have a conversation chain per record within Sage Intacct. So you can have the history of what happened and why recorded with that transaction, where you can go to that transaction and find it. You can also attach files and links, whether those links are within Sage Intacct or external links. All of these are useful for you to be able to see, what, when, why. They record who as well. And to get it turned on, if you don't already have it on, you'll open up the company menu under admin and subscriptions, and you'll find Intacct Collaborate in the list. You'll turn this on, and that takes somewhere in that 24-hour range to actually turn on. Of note, for any given user, they'll only be available in Collaborate if they have logged in after Collaborate was successfully turned on. What that means will be a little bit more clear here in a second. So after it's turned on and you've logged in for the first time, you'll find that there is a little chat bubble in the top right. If this bubble isn't here, then you either don't have access to Intacct Collaborate or it hasn't been turned on and thus you don't have access to Intacct Collaborate. Clicking on the chat bubble will show you any notifications you might have within the Collaborate system and allow you access to the Collaboration Center. Let's go ahead and hop into the Collaboration Center, take a brief overview of what that is. When you first open it up, you're going to get your feed. Anything you've followed or anything that's sent directly to you, you can find in the What I Follow or the To Me filters. And then you can also see the All Company filter. The All Company filter is going to give you access to anything that's been entered on records that your user has access to. So if you don't have access to, say, GL account 1000, you won't see the GL account 1000 chain here. This is just sorted chronologically, so the most recent comment will be the one at the top. You also have access to see the people in Intacct and the groups. Now, groups can be public or private. A public group you can just join, and this will give you notifications anytime this group is tagged. Private groups you must be invited to. You can ask to join the group to see that. Let's take a look at the settings within a group. So a group has a group name, an owner, which is the person that created the group, and optionally a description. Then you can choose whether to archive this group if there's no posts or comments for 90 days, which would turn off the ability to tag the users of the group and would turn off notifications for the group if it is manually tagged. Generally, I recommend choosing Do Not Automatically Archive this group. Then you can choose your group access, whether that's public or private. A private group, as you can see, only members can see updates and membership requires approval. If you set it up as private, then you have to manage the users in there. You can see it's the same general setup. Once the group's been created, you can't really do anything to modify it other than inactivate it. If you click within a group that you have access to, you can see the activity on that group, as well as the members of that group. You can also join that group if you would like to. If we go back to groups, we can see again the list of groups. We can also see files that are owned or shared with you directly, and then specifically all the files that have been uploaded within the system. So if we go back to the feed and we take a look at All Company, we'll note that each of the top comments within a chain link to a record. So if we want to see the record that Mike's talking about, we can just click on GL account 1000 in that title, and it's going to take us directly to that record. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see the comment that Mike made. We can also comment here if we want to. So we could say something like, at Mike, I think your cat got to your keyboard again. And then we can comment. And that's going to send Mike an email. If I had chosen a group like executive, it would send all of the members of that group an email. And then Mike can also see that in his feed. And if we follow this to see Mike's response later, we'll be able to come back to the Collaboration Center, and we'll easily be able to reference this. You can also stop following it once you've followed it. So if the conversation's done, you can just stop following it. We're interested to see if that was Mike's cat, or maybe he has some other thing going on. The other thing you can do with this is you can also come into the dashboards, and we'll have this set up for our clients under the deployment section. You can come into the dashboards and you can see a feed. Now you can set this up to filter by other choices. So just like you have the feed of what I follow to me, you also have group feeds and the company feeds. So if we change this to show us the Collaborate All Company feed, right here within the dashboard, we can see the entire feed that we had available to us before. We can also come back and change that back to what I follow. So that we can see what I follow, or back to the original to me, which is going to give you an indication of something that you need to pay attention to. This can be useful when you're setting up your own kind of home screen dashboards, and you can choose to make a couple of components that, here's the feed for AP, here's the feed directly for me, and you can see those things that you need to pay attention to. You can also post directly to a feed that will go to either a specific group or followers. You can include files. So let's say we were looking at a particular record and we needed some backup for it, but they didn't include it when the record was initially created. They could reply to that Collaborate line with the file attached. Or as we said, we can include a link, whether that goes to somewhere within Intacct or somewhere outside of Intacct. You can include that link in there and let people get to it fairly easily. You can also, on a dashboard, include a snapshot if you have any components that do accept that. So that's going to be pretty much the generality of what it is and kind of how it works. We can also see now that since we followed it, this is a notification for us within our notification bubble. But let's take a quick look at some of the preferences you have. So under My Preferences at the top right, you can scroll all the way down and find the Collaborate preferences. You can set up when you get an email, and you can also choose the email options on your groups. You can upload any given picture for your image. I actually don't have my my profile picture quite yet, so I can't set that up now. And that will help you identify users as they go through. If you have access to the preferences for a user, so if you're an admin, you can go in and update this directly to make sure everybody does have a profile picture. Because as you could see from the feed, we'll go ahead and skip that warning. It's a lot easier. Oh, I've been clicking a little bit too fast. It's a lot easier to see who's making that comment when you give them a picture rather than looking at the users at the end of those messages. So it's easier to see that it was Mike and then Brett than it is if everybody's just a head and shoulders icon. So I do encourage you to make use of at least the profile picture in those settings. On whether or not you inform your users that they have some control over those emails will be up to you. I think that's all we've got for today, so thanks for watching and have a great day.